Hello and welcome. My name is Micah. I'm the farm director at Seed Savers Exchange, and today I'll be talking about how I like to start my seeds at home. One thing that I like to check in on before I start my seeds is the basic information by crop type of what's required for that seed. And if you don't know, that's no problem at all. It's easy to get this information. Lots of times you can find information on the back of the seed pack that you might be using. Today I'll be starting some seeds from some Seed Savers seed packs and some from my home collection. A couple basic principles you want to look out for is drainage, size of your container, and the shape. So don't start your seeds in something that doesn't have holes poked in the bottom. It's very important, in my opinion, to have good drainage. We're going to keep our potting soil, that's what I use, is potting soil for my medium. We're going to keep that very moist, but still good drainage is always important. So I prefer to use a reusable tray such as this. There are 72 individual cells, 6 by 12 here. Why I personally prefer this over some of these other options is that it's not a single-use item. It is plastic, but I can use this tray to start a lot of plants year in and year out, and I really appreciate that. I got my soil all moist, and I spread it out, and then I used this pen to pre-dibble some holes that I'll be putting my seeds in. I like this pen, and this tape is taped at a 1/2 inch with a little 1/4 inch line too. The seeds that I'll be starting today, most of the packs recommend to put them in at a 1/4 inch. So I've got my tray filled with dirt, I've got my holes dibbled, and I've even gone ahead and I've pre-marked my tags. So each tag has a mark on it. It's very important to tag, even if you think you'll remember. I like to pre-write my tags before I even go because just one less thing to think about. So I have all my tags ready. I think I'm ready to start putting some seeds into some holes. Let's start with this. I'm very excited about this. Council Bluffs heirloom tomato from our catalog. I got my tomato seeds in my cup. Now, it's common practice for a lot of small seeds like tomato seeds to put multiple specimens in a single hole. I got nothing against that. I found with this technique, I get very consistent and good germination rates, so I don't do that. If you put multiple tomato seeds in one hole, you will inevitably have to thin out, I think, or I would highly recommend that as they shoot up, you have 2-3 successful starts, pick the biggest one and pull or cut those other ones out of there. So for me, I'm fine just to put one seed in each hole, and I would rather have a cell produce nothing than all my cells produce twice as much and I just need to cut one down. You will not grow a healthier tomato plant by growing 2 intertwined the entire time. So I'm gonna just do my very best right now to get one seed in each of these holes. One thing I really like about seed starting is you can be creative. I don't think there's one right way, and it's better for this to be a fun, meditative, fulfilling process than a stressful, scientific, did I do it right process. That's something that's really helped me. So right now I just got these first 2 runs filled in, and before I go any farther, because I know myself, I'm gonna go ahead and put a tag on each side. So now I've marked off the start and the end, so I won't be confused later. I'm gonna go ahead and keep putting seeds in the holes, and then at the end, I'm gonna put some dirt on the top, water them in, and then we'll be done. A final thing to help it from drying out, for me, is a humidity dome. This is my humidity dome from home, and it's a good example of my favorite type because it's taller up, and it's got these control, you can shut the top on both sides or open them up, so you have a little bit more control. Depending on where you're at and what the internal environmental conditions are, your temperature, where you're starting your seeds, it may be very helpful or not necessary at all. The warmth of the heat mat will basically speed germination time, and the quicker your seeds germinate, the less chance you have with a overwater, underwater scenario, and the quicker you're on to the next. Me personally, I'm doing this in a kind of a porch scenario that's not as heated. Maybe you're starting your seeds in a garage or in a mudroom type thing, And especially if you have a cold surface, this I found is well worth it, and you can use them for a variety of other things. In addition to the heat mat, you'll see I have this one small fluorescent light on an adjustable thing you can pull here. And I also think this helps quite a bit. The light isn't necessary to start germination, but it is necessary to guide that young little plantling through its first days and weeks of life. So might as well have it set up already. It'll pull the plant upwards, it'll grow towards the light. You can use the natural sunlight coming in through a window, south-facing window, and you'll notice that your plant starts might be a little lengthier, a little stretchier, and leaning towards the sun. That's totally fine too. I would recommend just coming and rotating that tray like a sheet of cookies in the oven every couple of days, so that as it stretches one way, then you turn it around and get it to stretch the other. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have fun starting your own seeds for your own garden.